Okay, while the thoughts are still fresh in my mind, I want to do a little theory on this specific part of this Valheim Mistlands gameplay trailer. If you don't want to be spoiled on trailer stuff, other than what I'm already seeing on screen, please click off now. Anything else beyond this trailer, I don't want spoiled for me. I will only go in when my friends want to play with me, and that seems to be on official release, so no spoil, please. That being said, it's not like people are really going to know much about the optimal mechanics and strategy surrounding these three things that I'm going to be talking about today. The spellcasting tools, the magic. People aren't going to know for months. We're not going to know for a long time. Even if you go in, you're like, oh, yeah, well, I went in with dev commands, and I know. It's so good. I spawned in all these enemies. No, you don't know. We don't know. I wouldn't know. If I went in and did dev commands, I still wouldn't know. But I have theory. It's going to take a long time to test the theory. But I'll get it to you eventually. But for now, let's get some theory, okay? All right. Alright, this one here. Note, two-handed fireball. Just like Falling Shamans, basically. I see two-handed, I see this animation. Let's watch this animation again. Okay. Decent speed. And the fireball's going at decent speed as well. Oh, okay. We'll get that later. Yeah, this speed, really nice. Reminds me of, the Falling Shaman Fireball. It's just color coded differently because we're using a Surtling core instead of Yagluth energy. That's gonna be pretty good. Okay, it's range damage. What's not to love, right? It's like, yeah, give me more of that. The crossbow is probably gonna be great. We already know the bow is good, so the spine bow is gonna be really nice. It's just another way to use range damage. There's nothing bad about that. What's really nice as well is see if this will show any impact. No, it won't. Okay. Fireball from Fullings has an AoE on impact. If this has an AoE, even if it's the same size, that's wonderful. Being able to strike not the actual target, but places right nearby the targets is going to be really good with barriers. So, building, like hitting through ruins, is going to be really good. Striking the floor around multiple enemies is going to be really good, or just the ground around multiple enemies. That's going to be good to maximize your damage. I will say it's two-handed, so considering that you're going to be firing this off from the mid-range or the long range, this gives you plenty of time to swap over to another two-handed weapon, specifically the atgeir. Bow plus atgeir has been that infamously powerful combo because of the really fast swap two-handed to two-handed. They've balanced and gave benefits to these two-handers because you don't have a shield for raw defenses. So you have all of these offensive capabilities. And if you use your skill and spacing and timing to cover the defensive lacking aspects of that setup, you just shred through everything. You absolutely dominate the 5 biomes before Mistlands. Bow and atgeir absolutely pops off, even though it's relatively one physical damage type, right? Pierce. It's still, in the vast majority of cases, phenomenal. Like, this is just top notch. So being able to switch from pure elemental to atgeir to physical, or just another two-hander, is going to be just super good. Now, here's the thing. Alright, we're going to go to the next one now. This looks like the person's emoting. The person's already casted spell. This is one-handed. Now, it could be the fact, just like the bow, that you hold it in one hand, but you have to use it with two hands, right? So it could be like that. However, this, I mean, it's in the left hand, so it's in the offhand. You could be very well pairing this with, say, the Frostner or the new Mistlands sword or any one-handed weapons. Like, this could be really, really strong a setup. Just off the fact that, like, hey, something new that covers for the shields and parries, because I'm rarely parrying as it is. I know I'll be parrying a lot in multiplayer because of the difficulty slider. Enemies are harder to stagger and they deal a little bit more damage. But solo, first 5 biomes, I got good enough to where I was barely parrying, let alone blocking. So being able to summon 3 skeletons is going to be fantastic. Not only that, summoning 3 skeletons is already better than parrying. Let's be real, okay? This is already better. Even if they're just regular skeleton stats, it is already better. Because these guys, they're going to take aggro. They are going to get in the way, and they're going to give you opportunities to attack. So, if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you've heard me talk about control. Control, control, control. If you can get some sort of debuff on the enemy, then you're styling. Like, you stagger as a debuff. It's like, okay, well, the enemy can't do anything for a little bit, and also it takes 2 times damage. Incredible. What are the best methods of stagger? Atgeir middle mouse. By far and away. Atgeir middle mouse. Now, the intention is to have the enemy not do anything, or be able to not do anything, and then destroy it from there. This is why the Frostner is also good at control and frost arrows, because the enemies are slow and they can't really do anything, and you can maneuver all sorts of ways and absolutely demolish the enemies. So it benefits your offense and effectively your defense. This is the same way. So you're summoning your skeletons, they're going to have the same relative effect, as in they're going to give you opportunities to attack, and the enemies aren't going to do much at all to you. They're going to do a lot to the skeletons, they're not going to do much to you. And the way that you get the most out of this is you are going to support your skeletons. It's what I've said about skeleton summoning in Champions of Norath, Champions Return to Arms, an old PS2 game that I've analyzed to death. That game, you have a summon skeleton ability. It's just one skeleton. He's a glass cannon. He's pretty strong, but also he takes aggro, and you're able to just run up and kill enemies right as they aggro onto the skeleton, because he takes the aggro and then you just swoop and you're like, goodbye. You gave me some free hits, and you could get 4, 5, 6, 7 kills basically for free, all because you had some dude taking aggro that has like 12 HP, right? So consider the fact that you have 3 of them. Now, this could be balanced out by friendly fire. If you have friendly fire, probably atgeir, right? Because if you have friendly fire, what's going to be really good? Having a linear, small hitbox going forward, and just forward, and not spreading outward, not a wide swing. Atgeir is going to be really good to pair with this. Just like it was good to pair with the last thing, but Atgeir is powerful. This is the world that we live in. If we don't have friendly fire, you know what's still powerful? Switching to atgeir. So, switch to atgeir. Hey, I can just spin the wind through their torsos. They don't take any damage, but all the mobs get staggered. And I can just go to town. And so can my skeletons for double the damage. Yeah, very powerful, very strong. So, the crazy thing is, even if this is one-handed, it's still an easy switch to the atgeir. Let's say you got Frostner and this if it's one-handed. You summon up your skeletons and you're like, ooh, there's like 5 guys trying to go for the skeletons. I'll put the Frostner away. Take the atgeir out. Free spacing, free stagger, free skeleton DPS, and I'm following up too. Very strong. Very strong. So any way you slice it, I think this is going to be powerful. I think a lot of these spells are going to be extremely powerful unless they have huge, huge restrictions. We'll have to see how that is. Do not spoil, please. And then the last thing, this one here. So it's really quick triple blast, just like the Drakes of Frost, presumably Frost. I'm gonna say that's a really safe bet that that's Frost. Yeah. And the reason why that's so damn good, even though that there are frost arrows from the bow, is that it is rapid succession. So the way that frost works in Valheim is that it stacks up to a certain point. And the more that it stacks, the slower enemies get. And if you get a lot of hits on a enemy that's even resistant to frost, like the locks, they will start slowing down and they will get absolutely screwed so long as you keep the hits on. So this is going to be a really good mid-range option when enemies, even frost-resistant enemies, are coming close to you. They're gonna be really close to you. You give them a triple blast, and then you might want to switch to Frostner or switch to a regular melee weapon because guess what? If only for a short period of time, this enemy is slowed. And that's implying, that's working on if this thing doesn't even deal any damage, right? Because of course it's going to deal damage as well. So it's going to have that icing on the cake. But even if it didn't deal damage and if it was just a debuff, that's wicked strong. Like, that's still so strong. It's like, oh, boom, even your frost-resistant guys are slow now. It's for a moment. It's like, I get to capitalize, If I switch to Froster, I'm going to keep that slow on, even your frost-resistant ass. Or I switch to anything else and I start just executing, switch to Sword for that reliable DPS per stamina. Just unbelievably strong. Just this thing, yeah, I'm gonna be using this thing, especially considering parts of Mistlands are fairly aquatic and there's rivers going through them. They're going to take 1.5 times frost damage. Whew. It's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be really nice. Of course, I'll be testing out all of these things so much when the update officially drops. Now, before I end off, I will say, people in testing, I'll give you a little testing update for people who also don't want like spoilers and want to go in when the update drops like me. People are doing very well in testing. Like, people are some people are going through normally, some people are absolutely rushing through, some people are going in somewhat fast and just exploring the middle of the biome. And this is important because having people explore and test every single part of the biome all at once within the first couple of days is only going to reduce the total testing time significantly. And that is going to be wonderful. They're going to find bugs with everything quick, and we're going to get bugs with everything fixed quick. I'm pretty damn sure about that. So I'm looking forward to a public test patch pretty soon, and then once that happens, it's only a matter of time, so long as that's smooth until the update drops. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be on course for like very soon, within 2 weeks probably, is my guess. Yeah, it's going to be a quick public testing. I'm pretty sure about that. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Hope you've sort of getting extremely hype about these magical tools. I'm super hype about them. They're going to be very strong. Even if the damage is relatively low, the utility is extremely high. And, well, thank you for watching, and goodbye.